Don't guess when Xi will attack Taiwan. Watch the power switch in America's hands. This is Jersey News Commentary Channel. Recently, the entire internet has been guessing when will Xi Jinping attack Taiwan? Some say 2027. Some say the US is tied down in Middle East wars, and China may seize the opportunity. All kinds of speculation are flying everywhere. But I want to say one thing: most of this is noise, detached from reality. In fact, the United States has already given an answer. The latest U.S. intelligence assessment states clearly China currently has no plan to invade Taiwan in 2027, and there is no fixed timetable. In other words, 2027 is not a war date. At most, it is a capability milestone. Being able to fight does not mean it will fight. Many people treat the Taiwan issue as a timing problem. That is wrong. The Taiwan issue has never been a countdown. It is a matter of trigger conditions. What is the underlying logic of war? The underlying logic of war is this: war is not an emotional decision. It is a cost calculation. This is the first principle of war, because every war must answer three questions: can you fight? Can you win? Can you bear the cost? And the third question is precisely controlled by the United States. Many people focus every day on aircraft carriers, missiles, and military drills. But these are not the fundamental factors. Moreover, much of what the CCP displays is performance and intimidation. The real foundation that determines whether war breaks out is the U.S. dollar clearing system. Some people say SWIFT is extremely important. Yes, it is important. But it is only a wire. SWIFT is the wire. The dollar is the electricity. If the wire is cut, it can be reconnected. If the power is cut, the system shuts down instantly. In other words, removing China from SWIFT is cutting the network. Removing dollar clearing is cutting the blood. Many people think SWIFT equals a financial nuclear weapon. Wrong. The real nuclear weapon is dollar settlement. Without SWIFT, there are detours. Without the dollar, transactions themselves cease to exist. Once dollar clearing is gone, China's trade would almost drop to zero. And today, international trade is the only channel that keeps the CCP's system alive, because the other two engines, investment and consumption, have already stalled. That is why I say, the Protect Taiwan Act is extremely important, extremely important. Because it is not a presidential statement. It is certainly not Trump's unpredictable rhetoric. It is a pre-written sanctioned script. The most critical phrase in this act is, all necessary measures. What does that mean? No upper limit. It includes every financial tool you can imagine. Now, there is another lock added. Another major variable, Japan. Sanai Takaichi put it very bluntly: a Taiwan contingency is a Japan contingency. And just recently, in her meeting with Trump at the White House, maintaining the status quo in the Taiwan Strait was elevated as a key shared agenda of the U.S. and Japan. What does that mean? The Taiwan issue is no longer just a U.S.-China issue. It is now a core issue of the U.S.-Japan alliance. Now look at China's internal structure. The economy is collapsing. The real estate sector has imploded. Debt pressure is overwhelming. The military is under large-scale purges. Xi's control over the military is uncertain. In one sentence, the system is extremely fragile. This is something the outside world, especially the West, and even Taiwan, fails to see clearly. To use an analogy, the CCP today is like the Grand View Garden in Dream of the Red Chamber. Glorious on the outside, rotten within. It looks prosperous, but its foundation is already decayed. Now put everything together externally: the dollar system, U.S. legislation, the U.S.-Japan alliance. Internally, economic collapse, political deadlock, military instability. There is only one conclusion: the cost of war is extremely high, extremely high. Unless Xi has gone mad, or is deliberately seeking destruction. So the real question is not, when will Xi attack? The real question is, does he dare, and can he afford the cost of total failure? My judgment is very simple: as long as the main valve of dollar clearing remains in place and credible, war in the Taiwan Strait is highly unlikely. Let me repeat the core logic: it is not about whether you can fight. It is about whether you can survive after you start the war. Whether war breaks out in the Taiwan Strait does not depend on any particular year. It depends on one thing: whether the United States is willing to cut off the power supply, the dollar clearing system.